be on YouTube. So for those of you who are tuning in on Facebook Live, I am so grateful. You are able to ask questions. This is a radio show, and we also have breaks. Because a radio show, we have 4 segments. We have to record it. For some reason, let me make sure that everything is shut down here. Let me make sure everything is shut down.
Hi, Shelley. Hi, Lillian.
Oh, you get to see everybody now?
I know.
Okay. So that you know, we're going to be taking hard outs because that's how we do it on the radio show. And then one thing that you need to know that there will be, sometimes we have to stop because we have to sign off on, for the radio. We're going to be recording everything. And even though it's a radio show, I want to make sure you guys get all the off-the-air conversations as well. And so with that in mind, just know that we're going to have to take little breaks. And during the breaks, quote unquote, the breaks, if you have any questions for Jason that have to do with meditations, or it has to do with, mindfulness, because that's what we're going to be talking about today. And by the way, Jason, when the music starts, we will be muted, but I expect everybody to be dancing with us, okay?
Mindfully
dancing with us. And I don't know why my voice is off track. Can you see that? Does everybody see that my voice is off track there?
Yes, we do see that.
Yes, I don't know what's going on. Let me see. Well, I hope it will correct itself, or maybe we should start again. I don't know, but it took a while. So I had my computer crashed right before the show, so I think this is going to be good enough. So if my voice is a little off, I apologize. And thank you, Nell. And so let's go ahead. I just don't like it. It's really not fun when your voice is not aligned.
Not in sync.
Not in sync. So can you guys forgive me for this one? So it might not be the most perfect, but at least we get the information out there. So what do you think, Robert? You're my producer. What do you think? Should we go ahead and get started?
The only thing you could consider is if you have anything else on your computer that you could turn off, that sometimes slows down the video.
I looked to see. So let me see if anything comes on when I put my cursor on it.
I'm good, thank you, Anne, by the way.
Yeah.
Thanks, Anne.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to leave it like this, and hopefully it'll correct itself. And I think my computer is just a little bit slow. But we are live from Australia and Florida, and I would love to hear from where you're listening from. So send us some love as we fasten our seatbelt and get ready to dance, because we're going to learn and grow together how to be mindful in the workplace. Hit it.
The Lillian McDermott Show.
We love, we fear, bridges we burn, we make mistakes, then we live and learn. When life gets tough, and it seems like your best ain't good enough. If you're in need of hope, you know where I'll be. I'll be right here, right here. And when you need a friend, you can count on me. I'll be right here, waiting for you.
This is the place you can always turn to when you need a friend. The Lillian McDermott Show. To reach out to Lillian, visit her on the web at whenyouneedafriend.com. Now let's all learn together. Here's Lillian McDermott.
Hello, it's so nice we can meet each other on the air on this beautiful, best day ever. And for those of you who have been tuning in since 2011, or maybe just tuned in yesterday for the first time, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if this is the first time, maybe somebody said, hey, you got to tune in because Jason Stephen is on, or whatever it is, just know that I've been waiting for you. This is a safe place where you can go to when you need a friend. It is my commitment to provide alternative ways to heal, and it is my mission to make awareness, responsibility, and truth a part of our everyday life. And I hope you, my listening as well as my viewing friends, will feel empowered to embrace a new truth and live the life of your dreams, the life that you were created to live. Now, as you know, the show is recorded on Facebook Live, and I'm telling you right now, my voice and my mannerisms are not in sync. Maybe they will, not yet. But we will still just hear it or close your eyes until we get in sync. But if you want to ask any questions and you want to join us on the conversation live with Jason Stephenson, just make sure you go to Lillian's radio show. So facebook.com/Lillian's radio show. Share it with everybody, because we are going to learn today about mindfulness where in the workforce. How many times do we go through life where we're just eating in front of our computers, we're multitasking, which by the way is a lie, and I'm just learning how to convert myself. All the different things that we tell ourselves, we don't have time, we're busy. And somehow in our brain, busyness equates to success. But does it? How can we start our day off and make sure that it sets the tone straight for the rest of the day? And who else but Jason Stephenson, who has over 1 million followers on YouTube. He's got a successful channel for when it comes to meditation, for sleep, relaxation, affirmations. And you can find him at Jason Stephenson Meditations at YouTube. You can also find him at jasonstephenson.net. So many different ways to stay connected with Jason. And since it is our sole purpose in life to give and receive love and knowledge, I am so grateful that Jason is here to do just that. Welcome, Jason, to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show.
Thank you, beautiful Lillian. Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to be here. And thank you, everyone, for watching and listening in too.
Yes, we have so many people that are your followers, your adoring fans. I tell you what, before we started the show, we already had 31 comments on the page.
They're beautiful, amazing people.
Yeah, but you know what? Your vibe attracts your tribe. So let's talk a little bit about you for people that are just tuning in for the first time and never heard of Jason Stephenson. Tell us, what do you want us to know about you today?
Wow, that's a good question. Okay. What I want you to know about me today is that every moment that I talk about mindfulness, it is my duty not just to talk about it, but to live it. And that is so important to me. And so it's a beautiful gift, this mindfulness, and I'm in a blessed place to talk about it. And the more I talk about it, the more it helps others, but the more it helps me. And I'm just so grateful to be here today, Lillian. And I'm loving this journey on mindfulness because I'm putting it into practice as I speak. It's, some things go wrong in our lives, as they did. A lot of my followers know that the YouTube was deleted for so many hours, 24 hours. And here I was just doing what I could do at the time. And I'm just happy to be here, just happy to be present.
Isn't it interesting? The world would tell us this is a huge problem. But in mindfulness, we're saying, I'm still Jason Stephenson without the YouTube. I'm still Lillian McDermott without whatever it is that we want. It doesn't change who we are. It changes our circumstances. But how grateful are we that you are still here to be with us and share your wisdom.
Exactly. It's not, I certainly wasn't deleted. My
one can delete you.
My channel was deleted, but we're not our experiences. We're not the circumstances that happen outside of ourselves. And so, here I am.
And we're not what we do.
And we're not what we do.
and we're not what we do. And with that in mind, we are going to center ourselves. I think my voice is finally caught up to my mannerisms. And so I can tell now because I'm doing this. And we're going to continue talking about and exploring. If you want to join us on Facebook Live, you're going to have to get up early and figure out where we are when we're talking. But you can always go to Lillian's radio show on Facebook Live, and we'll be returning back with Jason Stephenson live at whenyouneedafriend.com. And remember, we'll be right here waiting for you.
I'll be right here waiting for you.
Okay, Jason, what a great start. I didn't know you were going to share that, but that's great. I'm glad, because that was the conversation we were having before. But, I was sharing with you also personally that I experienced something really devastating yesterday. And and this is what I discovered, that even when we think our spirit is crushed, our spirit is whole. We might think our spirit is crushed, but we are still whole. Our spirit is still whole. Our spirit could never be crushed. And so that's why it's so important that we come together, lift each other up, and remind ourselves that even if you're going through a very terrible time in your life, because that could be devastating, 1 million followers gone, like that. Somebody pulled the plug and was playing a April Fool's joke, but yeah,
was too.
Yeah. And so with that in mind, knowing that even when we're going through difficult times, our spirit is whole.
And the night I went to sleep, sleep, I'll put in inverted commas, It was a pretty rough sleep. but I went through, I was mindfully meditating, and I could feel what was going on in my body. And I think just tapping into that kept me present. And so I didn't sort of go wandering off with, oh my goodness, like it was really keeping me present. And I felt the blood pumping through. I felt numbness. I felt all the sensations that were going on. But it was really helping me to keep grounded.
Yeah.
Of course, the support and love that I was surrounded by. I tell you, I woke up and in the middle of the night, and I went back to sleep just thinking, because I feel love. I feel loved, and yeah.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, I think that we're about to start again, because when we hear that tapping on our ear, that means that we're going to be muted. So it looks like you hear that. We're about to get muted. Everybody, let's start to dance, because we're going to start with 11 tips to go for.
When you need a friend, you can count on me. I'll be right here waiting for you.
You can text Lillian McDermott or leave her a voicemail at 407-373-5959. Once again, here's Lillian.
Welcome back to the Lillian McDermott radio show /classroom, where we always learn and grow together. Today's teacher is none other than Jason Stephenson, as we start embracing this mindfulness that helps us get through difficult times. And how many of us, we spend so much time at work. How many of us lose our focus, lose the blessing of having a job because maybe we're not happy with our boss, or there's a coworker, and we're always looking at what's wrong with our scenario, our moment. But really, if we focus on the blessing and maybe become mindful, and Jason, you have tips for us for today and how to remain mindful in the workplace. So let's get at it. Let's get at it right away.
Okay. Well, there's one that you just touched on a while back, Lillian, it's about multitasking.
Ooh.
And this multitasking business just doesn't happen. And there has been studies that have shown that 40% of productivity is lost when we multitask. And here's the thing, we feel busy. We feel this busyness and we feel like I'm flicking from this screen to that screen. Mm-hmm. I'm so busy. Oh my goodness. But we're not actually doing the work. And I'm speaking on behalf of myself here as well, I might add. I tell you, a few years ago, even 6 months ago, my business manager brought this up for me, but he said, Jason, tip, and I'll tell you, tip number 2 I've got is shut down all the screens that you're not using. And if you need to copy and paste, then have those 2 screens open, but shut all the others down and turn off the phone apps, turn off everything at the desk. So then you can begin to remain focused on the task at hand.
That's a great tip. As a matter of fact, I was doing some research on how do you focus? How do you stay focused? What happens to our brain? And I want to do some shows on that, Jason, because, we're thinking multitasking. I'm a multitasker. I think I get a lot accomplished. But the reality is, and this is what I learned, and to add to what you're saying, that just like when you turn off your car and you turn it back on, it takes time to wind it up. Like right before we were going on the air, my computer shut down. And it took a while for it to come, and all the files and all that stuff to come down. And that's what took a little bit longer to get started today. But that happens to our brain too. We have lots of different files that have to be loaded. So when we go from thing to thing to thing to thing, we're actually kicking in that it's slowing us down. And we're losing chunks of our day because we think that multitasking is a good thing. It's a lie. It's a real big fat old lie. So keep going with that. I love what you say.
Absolutely. And here's one way that we can begin to do this, and I'll call this tip number 3, is prioritize our tasks at the beginning of the day. So just write them down, write everything down, and then begin to put them in order as to what you want to nut out. I've now even got on my computer diary now, I've got blocks of time now. If I know that I'm going to be doing this, then for those 2 hours, I'm going to be doing that. And all other things are shut down. I focus on that. So prioritizing is a fantastic way to keep there. Now, if your mind wanders off, I know you might have the list down there, and if your mind wanders off and you see that you're starting to go to another activity or another job, be aware of that. And all you have to do, without judgment, without guilt or blame, is just go, okay, that's just happened. I've just wandered off. Now let's just go back to this task again. And no matter how many times that happens, keep going back to that task at hand.
Okay, so that prioritizing our day, like I have a list that I do, but I do it the night before. So before I come into my office that day, I have my list that I want to achieve, right? And so here's what happens. When I forget to do the list the night before, I'm a mess the next day. It's like I can't catch up to write my list. And I will equate that, now that you mentioned that, I equate that when I want to go to the gym, I take out my clothes the night before. I take out my sneakers, my socks, my workout clothes, everything is out. I've got my keys ready. If I don't do that, I don't go to the gym. So I never thought of, that my list, that I'm waffling around if I don't do my list at night. So when do you do your list? Can you do it in the morning?
Yes, absolutely. And that is when I do it, because I feel, and especially if I get up early, because I feel like once I get up, it's like a brand new day, and I get really clear before I begin to have meetings and the tasks at hand. I'm very clear at the mornings. For me, I'm more of a morning person. Nighttime, I'm totally just drained and it doesn't happen. It's not a good time for me to do anything like that. Morning time's perfect to create lists and to get the day started. you know, and that might mean for people getting up a little earlier or arriving at the office 30 minutes earlier.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it works.
Okay, that's a great tip. I love that tip. And I just realized why some days I'm like waffling around because I haven't done my little list. So, okay, so what else is on your tip? Or did you want to say anything about that one?
No. The thing is, mindfulness is not just about, it doesn't just have to end once you leave the desk or once you leave the job that you're doing. And the beautiful thing is mindfulness you can take with you anywhere. And especially if you're on a lunch break, and I know that some of the listeners may have heard of mindful eating.
Oh.
And so you can carry this with you to your lunch break. And what's this all about? Well, this is about, let's just say you pick up this beautiful, delicious golden apple and begin to just have this in your hand and be aware of this and start to think of all the energy that it's taken to get there into your hand. You know, the seed that was planted, the sunlight, the water, the people that have grown it, that have picked it, that have packed it, the shopping center people that have put it on the shelves, and finally it arrives in your just in your hand. And just look at it, sense the color of it, smell it, and then begin to taste it and to eat it with full intention of enjoying it. And it's better for digestion too, because you'll see that everything begins to just slow down more and you're more grateful. You know, mindful eating is beautiful.
Yes. And what happens is that when we eat in front of the computer, which I'm very guilty about this, Jason, you know, I'm being convicted here because, you know, like I said, we attribute being busy with success. And the reality is we need to change that. We need to change what we consider success. You know, in order for us to be promoted, looking busy is not the same as accomplishing our tasks. So if we allow ourselves that time for lunch to kind of have that distraction, does it reset our brain? Will it allow us to go back and say, okay, now that I've had this little break, now I can be more productive?
I think so. I think that's exactly what it is. You know, it resets the brain. We can be more focused. We've taken that time away from work. And so we've shifted our focus, but we're still remaining focused, but we're onto something else now. And that in itself, just having that break of the focus, when we return, we will find that the task at hand, we are more focused.
Very nice.
Because as you mentioned before, Lillian, if you're focused for too long on one project, it's natural that the mind is going to begin to tire. You know, we're going to begin to get tired.
Yeah.
And I've got a tip for that coming up. So
okay, what is it? I'm at the edge of my seat, and all of us, and we're getting so much love. For those of you who want to join us on Facebook Live, go to @Lillian's Radio Show, because you get to participate. We're getting all these comments that we'll address when we go on our break. So go ahead and Jason, go ahead. What's that next step?
Okay, so one of the next steps, guys, is that if you're finding that things are getting too much for you, your focus, you're beginning to wane and you're just beginning to drift off and, whoa, this is too much. There is nothing wrong with getting up, standing up, stretching, yawning if you choose to yawn, and breathing, and then having a break and just 1 minute or 30 seconds even, and then come back down. And what happens? You'll see this everything becomes clearer just in that small 30-second break. And then you're ready to go again.
So how is a 30-second break different than checking out your emails or looking at Facebook? Or how is that 30 seconds different? Enlighten us.
Because you have an intention and you have full awareness to take that break, that you say, okay, it's time for a break. Whereas when we shift to Facebook or to emails, it's usually a click of a button and it's without awareness. Mm-hmm. It is just simply, oh, I'll do this now. This is a distraction. Mm. And whereas when we are aware and we go, okay, let's take this break now, this intentional break, And also with the breathing. You know, breathing is just beautiful. You know, apparently, you know, we don't breathe up to 37% of our capacity on a daily basis. So take those moments to get that air in.
Get that air in. Take a little break. Shut down for 30 seconds mindfully, not just distracting yourself to do something else, which is what happens. I'm going back to that first tip about, or the second tip, to shut everything down on your computer other than what you're working on, because it takes a while for your computer to kick in that particular thing. So I love that tip as well as all the other ones. Okay, next tip.
And I think you just touched on this too, in regards to the emails. Emails. Oh my goodness. And I know about this too. And I'm practicing this. I am practicing this because I need this probably as much as anyone needs this. Emails can become the greatest distraction. And especially now that we're getting bombarded by, you know, there's some good emails, but there's lots of emails with promotions and sales and this and that. It's full on. Here's what we can begin to do. We can begin to take time out in the mornings to go through our emails fully and completely, to get them out of the way to the start of the day. Then you're ready. You know that's been done. Shut the emails down. Then come back to it in the afternoon. Set aside, block out time, half an hour, 1 hour, however long that takes. Get through the entire lot of emails before you leave the workplace. Because there's this thing of, I don't know about you, but I feel this when I get through the emails, it's this accomplishment and almost like, done.
Jason, let me tell you, for right around Christmas time, I had over 485 emails that I had not been able to open. I was like, I couldn't breathe. So I was getting ready to go on vacation, and I woke up at 2 a.m, and at 6 I was done and ready to start my vacation. I had to get them over with. So those emails can be very inundate us, like make us feel like we're swimming and drowning. But we're going to continue our conversation with Mindfulness in the Workforce with Jason Stephenson. Join us at Lillian's radio show on Facebook at whenyouneedafriend.com. We'll be right here waiting for you.
I'll be right here waiting for you.
So Tanya is decorating her room, apparently. So we're all learning about it on Facebook. Tanya, where do you live? Tanya, where do you live? Okay, I'm loving all the love that we're getting. I love your fans, by the way. You have incredible fans. So 1,010 little Rosie Sunshine. Oh my gosh, I've missed seeing you,
Not
little
open.
Rosie. I'm looking
That's wow.
So how do you, okay, so when it comes to emails, that is a huge distraction, because you can go, what happens is the way this is designed is so that you get hooked and you have to do one thing after another. So what if you have a deadline? I don't even open my emails, or I don't even open Facebook, because before you know it, 3 hours have gone by.
Absolutely.
You've done nothing.
Absolutely. And what the problem is with, I know it's certainly on Gmail, the problem is that you see if you leave that email open, you see a little red number come up that you've got an email in. And of course, what does the mind want to do? Yeah. It just goes, let's just check. Let's just check. No way.
Yeah.
Shut the damn email down, I tell you.
Yeah, but you know what? It is our substitution for mail. It's our substitution for connection, like YouTube. And sometimes we spend so much time on social media that we lose our connection to self, and that being mindful about it does help when it comes to reconnecting with your spirit and your mind and being mindful in your life. It's amazing how quickly we can drift. Do you guys have any questions for Jason? We're about to get started with our third segment, but I figured out a way that I can see these, but they're writing so much, Jason. They're just like so in love with you that I have a hard time reading all the stuff that's on there. Pick them that often. Yep, Anne's checking them. Are you able to see them too?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So at John, Jason read back these messages.
I'm sorry if I've missed something along the way.
Okay, we're about to get muted. We're about halftime. This is where I talk about my show. Here we go.
When you need a friend, you can count on me. I'll be right here waiting for you.
You can text Lillian McDermott or leave her a voicemail at 407-373-5959. Once again, here's Lillian.
Welcome back to the Lillian McDermott radio show / classroom, where we always learn and grow together. Today's teacher is Jason Stephenson, and we're broadcasting worldwide. So all around the world, we are able to connect with one another. We're able to bring this information of new truths as a way to become aware of ourselves. And today's teacher, Jason Stephenson, is helping us figure out how we can be that way in our workforce, be mindful in the workforce. And so how many of us want to continue this conversation, want to continue to grow together? The way we do that, because we don't know when the show is going to be on the air, it's so important that you like and follow me on whether it's the website or Facebook or YouTube. So I want to encourage us to continue this growth together by going to whenyounneedafriend.com. When you go to whenyounneedafriend.com, all the ways to stay connected are there. So like and follow me, join the conversations. If you are a member, a subscriber at whenyounneedafriend.com, you get, before anybody else does, the information of who's going to be on the show, what time they're going to be on the show, if it's going to be live, when it's going to be live. So it's so important that we go to whenyounneedafriend.com and become a subscriber. And while you're there, of course, you can subscribe to YouTube, because once that's on there, you'll get everything sent to you, and it's convenient to you as well for you to listen to and watch over and over again. And of course, we have our sponsors. We have, our sponsors, Keep Me Safe Organic. So for those of you who want to have non-synthetic, all organic makeup, body products, beauty products, you get 10% off on my website at whenyounneedafriend.com. And this is worldwide. Keep me safe organics. You can go to whenyounneedafriend.com, click on that icon and start saving there. There's so many of our Liberty Health Share, First Alternative Care, the pharmacy in Merritt Island, but there's more. There's going to be more. And that's how we are able to keep this classroom open with the generosity of our sponsors, so that this classroom can be brought to you for free. You can also listen to us on podcasts, and you can email me at any time, lily@whenyounneedafriend.com. And of course, for those of you who are loving us on Facebook at Lillian's Radio Show, I'm loving all your comments and all your hearts, so thank you so much. And Jason Stephenson, oh my gosh, what a wonderful man who is willing to serve at a moment's notice. So thank you so much, Jason, for being so kind to take the time, waking up early, because it's 16 hours ahead of us in Australia. And so you keep moving. Like, whenever I get used to you being in one place, you move to another place. So, witness relocation program, what?
I can't keep up with myself, to be honest.
Yes, you are growing. I love the fact that your brand is growing, and that it is a brand based on honesty, sincerity, clarity, mindfulness, and creating the life that you want. And that's why we are so connected, Jason, that, it's like, I'm so grateful that we finally found each other, because we can together, by ourselves, we're just one person, but together we are an incredible tribe. So thank you so much for everything that you do. Before we went on the break, you shared several, like 5 or 6. So are we ready to move on to our next mindfulness tip in the workforce?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
What's next?
This one's for all the people that work at home, and this is a growing tribe of people now. I work at home. There's so many people with the internet, more and more beginning to work at home. And what we have to be careful of is we have to set our hours and make sure that we switch off after. If you set that 5 p.m. is your finish time, then you switch off. And I know that this can be very difficult, but this is really, really important. Otherwise, we will get burnt out. And, I've just had something, happen with the YouTube channel was pulled down. And so here I am working, like literally around the clock. I guess in circumstances, there's going to be circumstances where we need to be there. But for the most part, let your staff know, let everyone know. They can send emails if they choose to, but you don't respond to them.
Yeah. Yes. And here's the thing. If you are shutting down, and this is a great tip for me, and one that I started learning about Ayurvedic, the Ayurveda and Ayurvedic tradition and the circadian clock. It was an eye-opening experience. I had Dr. Suhas Shirzagar, and he is amazing. And when I realized that we have a circadian clock and there's a particular time, there's a season for everything. There's a particular time. And of course, I've said this before, and I don't know if you and I have talked about this, but we were created to heal naturally. And our body does it for us. When we go to bed, we need to go to bed before 10 o'clock p.m. your time, wherever you're at, 10 o'clock p.m., because that's your clock. And then between the hours of 10 and 2, that's when your body starts to clean itself. That's when, I knew that, I've known that for many years, but sometimes I stretch it. A little bit longer. I might go to bed at midnight. But between the hours of 10 and 2, that's when our toxins are being released, and we must be asleep. And when we are looking at the television or when we're looking at screens, that interrupts our sleep, because the blue lights is day. So one of the things that I learned to do is to put your phones, your computers, to shut it down so that it yellows. It becomes like that evening time, so your body will start resetting, because you must be asleep in order for your body to kick in and start releasing these toxins. Did you know about that, Jason?
Yes, I did, Lily. And sometimes it concerns me, because I'm fine with that, because be assured, I'm in bed before 10 p.m. usually, so I don't have a problem with that. So that's one good thing. But I do have some friends that actually stay up from 10 p.m. and past 2 a.m. On certain programs and computer games, etc. And that always concerns me, because I am aware of that's the healing time.
That is the healing time. Yeah.
And so, that's really important to bring up. That's so important to bring up.
But you know what? I have never said my times end, and I work out of the home. So I have never said, okay, I'm shutting down at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock. But now I've been turning off. I've been walking away from my office at 9 o'clock. Because, we get freedom when we're at home. We can do a little bit more and not have to work like constant from 8 o'clock in the morning to 9 o'clock at night. So we do have a little bit of freedom. But since that show, with the exception of one day, I have been in bed by that time. So I'm hoping that everybody who's listening today will follow suit, because that is when the toxins are taken out of our liver, our kidney, and all of that. And stress is a huge problem when it comes to illness. So let's talk about, do you have anything else to talk about with that particular tip?
I just want to say in regards to that as well, that it's not only the physical healing, but what you're doing is you're making sure that your mind has a break from this workload, so that when you go back to work the next day, you're looking at it with fresh eyes, and also you're not beginning to resent it. Mm-hmm. Because if you stay up for all hours, you can get bitter about things.
Yes.
So stop it down, cut it down, have that cut-off point and stick to that, and then pick it up the next day with fresh eyes and fresh mind and fresh body.
Isn't it amazing how we sabotage ourselves without even knowing that? Just sabotage ourselves. We think that, I know that many of us are night people and many of us are daytime. I'm a morning person. So for me to do a show later in the evening for me, and it's early for you, it's a little harder for me because I'm up really early. I'm up at 4 a.m. and that's when I do my meditation, and that's when I go work out. After like around 5ish, I go work out, and then I come home to get ready for my day. And so it's really structured in the morning, but at night, it's like when I catch up. So I'm sure a lot of you pay for it the next day if you don't get that full 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Because and if those 7 to 8 hours sleep happen like after 2 o'clock in the morning, you're not getting the benefits of the toxins leaving your body. You want to add anything else to that?
No, I just totally agree with that. Yeah. Do your best to get to sleep. Give yourself even 12 a.m. to 2 a.m. If you can do that, do that.
Yeah.
But for goodness sake, get that break, of 4 hours to allow your body to begin the healing process.
Yeah. Fortunately, Jason, we know a great YouTube channel that we can go to when we need to sleep or when we need to be uplifted, and that's Jason Stephenson Meditations on YouTube, which that's how I found him, and I am so grateful that I can share him with the world as well, and share with your fans too. And we're going to continue our conversation off the air with Jason Stevens, so you can join me at whenyounneedafriend.com. Click the Facebook Live button, and just remember, we're going to be waiting here for you pretty soon, so come on back.
I'll be right here waiting for you.
Okay, so Nell says she sleeps 6 hours. And let me tell you something. I just recently made a commitment that I want to sleep 7 to 8 hours every day. And my focus has increased. So Jason, that's so, what you do to help people is so crucial. So Nell was saying that she sleeps 6 hours. And that's another lie. That's another lie that we don't need. I always say, I don't need a lot of sleep. But lack of sleep causes a lot of problems. It causes us to gain weight. It causes us to be tired throughout the day, not as sharp. And I'm telling you that ever since I made that commitment to be out of my office by 9 o'clock, in bed by 10, it has really changed my life. Any examples you'd like to give?
That's great. And I know that I've read too that they say to switch off all these sorts of computer things, 2 hours even before you go to bed.
No. And digestion, you should never eat before you go to bed. You need to have 3 hours, because what you're doing is the digestion process does not allow you, if you eat before you go to bed, it will not allow you to really sleep.
Because it's busy working.
It's busy working, and it's not clearing out between the hours of 10 and 2. So much. Our bodies are created perfectly, but there's so much we do to sabotage our body without even knowing. And once we know better, we do better, right, Jason?
I'm an 8-hour person. I need the 8 hours. And it's a little bit broken, but if I get that, I'm very happy boy.
Yeah, yes, all of us. But I did that where I noticed a difference in me. So I'm hoping that this is going to encourage everybody. The book that I'm talking to you about is with Dr. Suhas Shirsargar. It's called Change Your Schedule, Change Your Life. And you can check out the YouTube video or on Facebook. He's on there. Watch the show. It's amazing. You take Ayurvedic that's been around for 5,000 years, and you combine it with our lifestyle, and it is really a life changer. Check out the video with Dr. Shirsargar. And we're about to get muted, Jason.
When you need a friend, you can count on me. I'll be right here waiting for you.
You can text Lillian McDermott or leave her a voicemail at 407-373-5959. Once again, here's Lillian.
Welcome back to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show /classroom, where we always learn and grow together. And today I am so excited to get these wonderful tips from Jason Stephenson and have this conversation that, we spend a lot of time focusing on things that really don't matter. I had this conversation with Ashley, Jason, that Ashley is not only my right hand, she's my right hand, my left hand. She makes sure that she co-produces the show with the board operator, and she does a lot for me. And I was telling her, we spend a lot of time learning about drama, like what the latest show is, or mindlessly going through and who's doing this and who's doing that on Facebook, and who's living a better life on the outside that looks better on the outside than our inside. But shows like this, where and with you, when you go on, Jason, and on your website as well, jasonstevenson.net, and all the different places that you can join Jason as well. Very rarely do we really think about, how do I heal my spirit? How can I heal my mind? How can I create a better life for myself? And if we were to and the answer is, I just don't have the time. But if we truly seriously look at where we spend our time, and that challenge of mindfulness, that you're giving us some tips of mindfulness, then we would find so many hours in the day to learn and grow like we're doing today.
Absolutely, Lily. It's if we could block out our time, if we could write it down just for one day, for a 24-hour period, everything we did in 15 blocks, I am sure we'd be very, very surprised at how much time we spend on our phone, on doing crazy things, things that are not useful to us as a whole being.
Challenge accepted, Jason.
The beautiful thing is, with these phones now, they actually tell you how much screen time you're using per day and things like this.
How is that?
And I know some great things are coming out with the Google phones, because I heard from the insider of Google, where they're going to be coming out and they're going to actually be shutting down the phone. It begins to get dark and darker and darker. And once you've scheduled in that I've had too much, once I've reached my limit, the phone will begin to shut down to remind you to get off, that you've had enough time on.
Yeah, it's that color that I was talking about. It takes away the blue lights that we have on our televisions, on our computers. Exactly, that is exactly what. And you can go on there. There is in your settings, there's a display where you can shut it down. You can have it go blue lights at a certain time and shut it down at a certain time. And let me tell you, it does work. It really does work. But let's hear more tips from Jason Stephenson.
Okay, so we're talking about mindfulness at work. And here's something that I've introduced this year into my team and our staff meetings. And that is to have a mindfulness session. And that's we started off with 1 minute. We've turned it now into 5 minutes. It's just as soon as we all come together, the first thing on the agenda is to sit and to breathe and just focus on our breathing. And everyone is beginning to really enjoy this, and it's a fantastic way to start the meeting off. Now, you don't have to be a mindfulness expert to do this. You can begin to bring this up at your own staff meeting and just say, okay, guys, let's just sit here. Let's just connect to this moment, to be fully present in this moment, and let's focus on our breathing. And if our mind wanders, then all we do is just bring it back. No matter how many times we keep bringing it back to breath. And do it. Put the timer on and do it for 2 minutes or 3 minutes. And it's amazing when that is finished how everyone feels. And it really brings people into this moment.
I love that. And you know what else? I'd like to add what else. As you were saying that, I was visualizing all of you and your team doing this. Another thing that you're doing, not are you just being mindful, but another thing that you guys are doing is you're uniting your breath and you're uniting your intention. You're actually feeling each other's vibrations and communicating with each other. Isn't that amazing?
Sure. Who would ever think, that just doing that is a form of communicating with each other?
Yes, absolutely.
That stillness. It's that, and it's even deeper, Lily. It's a real connection with each other. So you're connecting on a whole different level.
Yes. I don't know if I did a show, if I read, because I'm always doing research, preparing for the different shows that I do. And if you want to connect with your spouse, your significant other, even a friend, stand next to each other and put your hand in your heart and your hand on the other person, and you synchronize your breathing, eye contact. That creates more intimacy in a relationship. And you can maybe you can do that before an argument, like you have to talk about something serious or something to that effect. So you can use that technique to do so many different things, Jason. So many different things. How to resolve conflict. I mean, and when you're angry with somebody or you don't want to be near them, you're kind of like fighting distance, where you can just throw that punch to one another. But when you get closer and where you can hear them whisper or hear their breathing, it can change the pace.
Oh, I tell you, what a beautiful thing. And I would guarantee that if you could do that, if you had that opportunity to do that the argument wouldn't even start.
Yeah.
It would end because of the empathy for each other and the connection, and realizing that person is exactly like I am. We all want that. We all want to be happy. We all want to be loved.
Yes.
And just doing that, you'd be like, okay, like a release. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Well, it is a start. It is a start to setting, that mindfulness, that synchronicity where, maybe we don't agree, but let's focus on what we do agree, which is what I focus on the show. Doesn't matter. I mean, we agree with 95%. Why focus on the 5%? So 95%, we're good. So let's figure out ways that we can create win-win. That win-lose combination that the media, sports, politics try to sell us is just a lie, just like multitasking. Okay, so I just want to announce, so are we going to do a little meditation after the show for all our Facebook friends?
Sure, let's do a mindfulness meditation.
We'll do a mindfulness meditation when the show is done. So I know that we're getting close to our radio portion off, being done, but we're going to continue our conversation. Jason, real quick, because you have still some tips that if you can just tell us.
Let me just go through some of these quickly. Look, on YouTube, I have some minute-long or 2-minute-long or 5-minute-long meditations. So if at work, even for 1 minute, you want to take a break, that things are really getting stressful for you, flick onto YouTube. You don't even have to listen to mine. I don't care who you listen to, but there's many minute-long or 2-minute-long meditations. Just take that moment to connect And then you might not, if you're going through a really stressful time, you might not react as much. You won't react. You can then respond from a much more calm place in your heart.
I love it. I love it. You know what, Jason? I think that because I know we're going to continue talking after the show, but I want to challenge everyone who's listening, whether it's the radio or watching on YouTube or in our audience on Facebook Live. I want to challenge everybody to do a 3-day mindfulness challenge. I want people to take accounting not only about their money or their, their food. We count our calories. We do all these different things. I want us to count what we do in the day that really doesn't matter. I know Barbara says she watches a lot of Netflix, but, so how much television do we watch that's not really filling our spirit, our soul? 3 days. What do you think? Will you do that with me, Jason?
I'll do it. Absolutely,
awesome.
I will. I'm in. I'm in.
Okay, who else will do that? Send me an email. Send me a text. You can call me at 407-373-5959 and tell me, how did you spend your 3 days? What do you need to reduce so that you can be a mindful, happy person? And please remember, I'll be right here waiting for you. Thank you, Jason. I love you, love you, love you. This is Lillian McDermott wishing you love, peace, joy, and unexpected abundance. Make it the best day ever. Yay. Okay.
Thank you.
The opinions and advice expressed on the Lillian McDermott radio show are intended for the individual callers and guests on the program and are presented to our wider audience solely for general educational purposes. Please act responsibly and consult personally with your own medical, psychological, or nutritional expert before taking any steps to improve your life.
Okay, everybody, this is where we get to sneak off with Jason and have our one-on-one time with him. For those of you, there's been a lot of comments. If we have not addressed any of your questions, if you have, Jason, how much time do you have?
I have some time.
Okay.
I have time.
Okay, let's give it maybe 15 minutes.
Yes.
Of time. So if Tracy wants you to know that you look amazing, but you always do. You always look amazing, Jason. So thank you, Tracy.
Thank you, Tracy.
For that. And Barbara says meditations are a must-do. It is a blessing.
Barbara.
It really is. And Anne, thank you so much for being a part of the show.
Sonia.
Yeah, so many. Nell, I listened to you. Let's see. I need to go backwards. So I'm hoping that all of you feel that you have received a different tool today, whether it's, through the tips or through the dialogue that is created from these tips. But I do hope that at least, what do you think, 3 days, is that too much? 3 days just to become aware of jot down what we're doing throughout the day. And just create that awareness, because how many people tell me, and I was one of them, Jason, I just don't have time to meditate. I just don't have time to breathe. I don't have time breathing, for Pete's sake. I forgot how to breathe through my diaphragm. And I was breathing through my chest, and my voice became hoarse and all of that. So, those are the things that we say to each other, that we say to ourselves, that sabotage us and get us in trouble.
And Lillian, there's something you mentioned about, the distractions and things, and I'd like to give a little tip on that if I could.
Please do.
Just quickly. Sometimes if we're at work or anywhere in this matter, if we've got something that our mind keeps churning over, and it's no good just to push that down and pretend that doesn't exist, or like it's got to get away, because it will come up anyway. Get yourself a little notepad, a little journal. I begin to journal and write down the distraction. Write that down that keeps coming up. And even if you don't get to it then, get to it later. Because then what you're doing is you've acknowledged that, now you can move on to this, to where you presently are. That's another beautiful gift, another tool that you can use.
Yeah, I want to and add something to what you just said. our phones have become an extension of our lives.
Mm.
Our phones, like, you know, you felt horrible when your YouTube came down. People feel that way when their phone is off. You know, they feel that, oh my God, I'm not connected to the world. And so because, you know, some people say, oh, I can't remember that. I can't remember this. I'm like, you don't have to remember anymore. Our phones do everything for us. Put it down on your phone. So if you don't have, because this is what's going to happen. We sabotage ourselves. We don't want to really look at ourselves. We want to look at others. I can tell you everything other people are doing and their flaws and everything that they're doing wrong. And let me give them some construction feedback and some whatever it is. I can do that for that person. I want to help them. How seldom do we look at ourselves in the mirror and say, I need to work on myself. I want to be a self-cleaning oven. Can you imagine if we all became self-cleaning people, self-cleaning ovens, finding out? So if I don't have a notepad, I can just put it in my memo in my phone, right, Jason?
The voice recording. Get it down, get it out.
Yeah. There's so many things that we can do to make ourselves successful. Like working out, I gave you a tip for that. Take everything out the day before. For me, I need to write things down the day before, before I go to bed. I get it out of my brain, Jason, and I don't need to, I release it at that moment. And there was another thing that you talked about that I want to also add when you were talking about how worried you were about the, you know, like you couldn't sleep very well, and you allowed yourself, like yesterday with me, you know, I shared with you yesterday, I had it was a sad situation that I had. Well, okay. I believe that we create everything. And on my website at whenyouneedafriend.com, there's the taking 100% responsibility for everything in my life. And so I had to take responsibility for that. I did that. I actually, because I needed to release it. There's 4 questions of taking responsibility. I hope that you guys go and check it out. So once I started looking at how I created it, the gifts and lessons, what's going to be different, and how I'm going to use this for the greater good, I started the process of letting it go. But I had to feel it first, Jason. We're human, you know, and I hope that because you're such a mindfulness guru now and you're doing meditation, that you're not hard on yourself when you are feeling a hard time.
Yeah, no, I'm not. And I'm allowing it to flow. In fact, I remember doing a Facebook Live and telling the people about it, my tribe about it, and to the point where I was about to, you know, cry. And if the tears were going to come up, they were going to come up. I really don't care about that. All I care about is being as honest and authentic as I can for myself.
Yeah.
And in doing that, I'm giving myself the best gift, and giving that gift, passing that on to others. It's, as I said, I'm living this mindfulness project, if you like. I'm living it myself on a daily basis, and I'm learning a lot. I can share a lot, but I can also share that when I move through these trying times as well, and how it felt and what comes up, and
feeling it is so important, but we need it to go through us, because many of us don't allow it to go out, and we keep it inside, and then we implode, because that's when it goes into a healing center in our body, like the chakras. Those are healing centers in our body that are affiliated and associated with other aspects of our lives, the root cause of why we do this to ourselves. And if we let it stay there, that's when disease manifests. That's when stress happens and all those different things. So yes, we're human. And I remember telling my husband last night, I said, I just keep crying. The tears were just flowing, and I just wanted to ignore it. I wanted it to go away. But the body won't forget what the mind wants to neglect. And so my body was saying, you need to mourn this. you need to just cry. And I didn't want to cry. I didn't want to cry. I wanted to sleep. And I wear a dark mask, Jason. And I was like the tears were coming underneath the mask. I'm like, what the heck am I doing crying still? And I said to Robert, I said, honey, I'm still crying. I don't know why I'm crying. My eyes, I said, my eyes are leaking because I didn't want to cry. My eyes are leaking.
The eye mask would have been soaked. Just
I had to wring it out. But you know, my body needed to do that. And I think that if we listen to our body, and if we're true to ourselves, our bodies will heal. They'll release the weight we want to release. They'll start allowing us to go to bed on time. It'll start allowing us to meditate. And that's where I'm at. And Jason, I want to thank you for your part in helping me, being my teacher to encourage me and all of these wonderful people who are still tuning in even after the radio show is done, and sending love. And just sending you love and us love, because they're even sending me love. Yeah. And now you're right. Sometimes we just have to cry. And I say that that's how we cleanse. That's how we purify ourselves. And that's how we purify our lives. Just allow the feeling to flow out of us. Jason, is there anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, just like, as I think I mentioned before, but when, that time when that channel did go down and I felt that numbness, I allowed myself to feel it within my body, the exact points of what was going on. And it was shifting. When you begin to observe, it doesn't stay the same. Those feelings shift. And then there'll be moments of calmness. And then there'll be moments where I could actually feel the blood pumping, coursing through my veins. And then there was moments of tingling. But just in being aware of that, it allows it to flow through me. It allows me to release it and not to hold on to it and not be bitter, not be angry, not move into a depressed state, but just an acceptance of, as we spoke before, of, what now?
What now?
What's next? Yes. This has happened. So what now? Just be open. Let's see what we do next.
Yeah, and the what now comes from, I remember reading, I don't know if I've shared this with you, Jason, or if I've said this before, then I apologize for repeating myself, but I took a 7-year course and I studied the Bible. And I remember going through Romans and going, oh God, this is just, but when I got to Romans 8 and I read about the groaning of the Spirit, that even if we can't speak words, our spirit can cry out to that Creator, to our Creator, and our Creator understand the groaning of our spirit. Like, we don't even have to say a word. And then it goes on to say, I am in you, you are in me. And I am one with God. I am one with that Creator. And then I read that all things work out for the good of all, not just me. And that what next for me is, how is this going to bless me? How is this going to bless the other person? And that's how I also deal with people that hurt me. I send them blessing because I know that what I send out to the world will come back at me.
Oh my goodness. And it does, doesn't it?
Doesn't it? Yes. And so, I was reading, oh gosh, the comments are going. Nell says that happy tears are the best. I think it was Nell or Barbara. I don't know who it was, but I read happy tears are the best. And yes, they are. Happy tears are great, but we can't vilify sad tears. You know what I mean? I get embarrassed because I cry ugly, Jason. I'm not a pretty crier. And of course we all want to look good. Hey, I cry beautiful. It doesn't work out that way.
Yeah, that perfect tear doesn't just drop down like you see in the movie.
It only happens in the movies, and it's not real. After you're intimate with your partner, you don't look great. After the next day when you wake up, it just don't look great. Okay, with that last thought, are we going to go into this mindfulness? You guys have, I don't even know we even paid attention. Does anybody have any questions? Oh.
Yes, okay. Let's do a mindfulness meditation. Yes. and what we're going to do on this one is we're going to focus on the breath at one point. We're going to focus on the sounds at another point, and we're going to focus on sensations in our body and what's happening right at this point. So I'll guide you through this, and we can use these points as anchor points to always call back and to keep us returning in the moment. Yes. So let's give it a go.
Okay.
So let's begin putting your feet on the ground and sitting in a upright and dignified position, like a majestic mountain. So upright, but not held tense. Let's begin just taking in 3 deep breaths in through the nose and sending that breath all the way down to that lower part of the belly, the diaphragm area. And really releasing those breaths, letting go. Bringing yourself into this present moment. And returning your breath now to a comfortable, natural rhythm for you. Breathing in and out now through your nose. Not needing to change anything. Just observing your breath. You might feel this breathing, the breath going in and out your nostrils. You might sense it as it comes right down into your diaphragm area and the belly expands on the breath in and falls back to the spine on the breath out. Wherever you want to focus, wherever you feel it most, just bring your attention to that sensation. And knowing that if the mind wanders, you acknowledge that and you can bring your focus back to your breathing. Just breath by breath, moment by moment. And now extending this awareness now to your ears and to the sounds that are coming in. And it's not necessarily about listening out for sounds, but rather just what happens, what sounds you hear, allow them to come through you. And just like thoughts, they come through you and they too pass by. And again, if any thoughts come up for you whilst you're doing this, simply acknowledge those thoughts and return your focus to your breathing and to any sounds that you may hear. And also experiencing the silence between the sounds. And finally, just going to do a quick scan now of the body from the tips of your toes up to the top of your head, and just checking in on your body and any sensations that you feel, or any tension, any pain. Just checking in on this. What is going on in your body? And if you feel anything, you don't have to do anything about it, but just be aware of it as it is in this present moment. And if you're feeling any uncomfortableness or tension or pain, if you feel that you need to adjust your body, just mindfully be aware of what you are going to do before you make a movement. And then just mindfully move if you choose to. And coming back now. Let's take 3 deep breaths in through our nose, and release now through our mouth. Letting go of any tension that you may have felt on the breath out. And I notice my dog has finished his meditation session. He's walking out. And so that's our time to gently open our eyes, and we can return.
Oh, Dharma.
It's Dharma.
Dharma. I hope Tanya put down her paint. That's all I'm saying, Tanya. I hope you put down, I think you're the one that's painting your room, right? You're absolutely beautiful, Jason. I am always grateful. Is there anything that we left out that could be added for tips that you'd like to share? Anything else that you'd like to share?
Another thing that I've just started, and this has been fantastic for me. I understand that it might not be able to happen for all different parts of the world, but if you can get outside, even on your breaks, 15 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day, and get some sunlight, in particular between 8 and 10:30. It's the greatest time for the healing sun. And I'm blessed at the moment. The weather's perfect, and I'm beginning to take my laptop out there and have my meetings out there. So if you can do that, by all means do it. And that helps with sleep as well. Getting some of that sunlight actually helps with our sleep to get a better sleep. So
yeah, well, you're talking about vitamin D, which helps with decreasing depression. There's so many different things that we can do throughout the day naturally. We don't need the coffee. We don't need the junk, those drinks that have a lot of sugar. Those are things that are sabotaging our body. And so I want to encourage all of you to not just take inventory of the food you eat, not just take inventory about, the times that you are wasting in throughout the day, but take inventory of the times that fill your love bucket, that fill your heart, fill your spirit, and also help heal the body. Because when we are feeling love, whether it's self-love or love with another person, those are different ways that we love each other. And that's what mindfulness does. It allows us to reconnect with our spirit, right? And I love that, 8 and 10:30. And you should, what time is it there now?
It's now close to 9 a.m. here. Yeah.
Okay. So
believe me, I'll be getting out just after this. I'm taking my dog for a walk. So
okay. Well, I've been told that you can't hear me anymore. What about now? I just need to be louder. After that meditation, I'm just like ready to chill.
Sure.
Okay. So 3-day challenge, write your day down. Write your day down and be honest. Take that inventory. Where are some areas in my life that I can be more purposeful, more mindful, more productive, so that we can shut it out at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock and start to recharge our battery, going into a deeper sleep and getting to bed by that 10 o'clock. Because as Dr. Suhas says, the train leaves at 10:30. The train leaves at 10:30, and that's the last train that you can just, like, if you want to fudge it a little bit, that's when you do it.
I tell you, I'm getting that book. Getting that.
Yes, change your, we gave the book away. We gave the book away. So when people listen to the show, we give these books away. We have giveaways. And next week, we're going to start giving away air tubes. This is the air tubes that I have here from Safe and Smart. They do not promote electromagnetic frequencies to go into your ear. So we're going to be giving away a lot of stuff, not just beautiful Jason's meditations. And, I love your meditations because we get to have a one-on-one with you after the show and on Facebook Live. So thank you so much, Jason, for everything you do. And I am going to tune out. Anything you'd like to say to your beautiful fans? No,
I'd just like to say thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and thank you for the love and support that you express. Yeah, I feel truly blessed to do what I do and to help you. It's a real bonus for me.
Well, I tell you what, we're very grateful for you, Jason. You're a great teacher. A great teacher. Thank you for teaching us that even through adversity, which is Romans 8, all things work out. Look at how you took a disease that could have just put you, made you a bitter, resentful individual into a loving, mindful person. So thank you so much, Jason. And I'm looking forward to our next conversation because we get Jason here once a month. I'm so excited.
Beautiful. Thank you very much, Lillian, for your energy. Love you dearly.
And I love you more. Okay, so stay tuned here, Jason. I get my private time with you now. But for those of you who are watching on Facebook Live, thank you so much for watching us. And I look forward to reading all your comments because it's really hard to read the comments when I'm staring at the camera at Jason's eyes. So I look forward to reading and making some comments as well. Thank you so much. And I will look forward to you. Have a beautiful, best day ever. And now I'm saying goodbye. Oh my God, I should have said share and like us and make sure that everybody knows that this show is about healing. So I will stop the recording now. See you on YouTube.